Hi, I'm Erica.
And I'm Pam.
And we're here today to put together our Star Weaver quilt.
It's such a fun quilt, and we'd like to thank Robert Kaufman and Moda for our fabric.
It's gorgeous. We've got it hanging behind us. And what we're going to work on today is the quarter square, quarter squares that go together to form the center of that square up there.
Right, so we're going to show you this 18-inch block and how to put it together. But keep in mind, quilters, look at this center block right here. That's simply a 9 patch, so really easy to put together.
So we are going to be using our 12-inch cube for this, although you can see we're putting together a pretty good size block here out of it.
It is, and we only need actually one die for the one that we're going to show you today. We're going to show you these quarter square triangles and how they go together, and then you would just add the squares on the end. So we're going to use our Go Big fabric cutter today. You also could use your Go fabric cutter, but you need to make sure that you can't use your baby because the dies are too big. So Go and Go Big can use this. So here is die number 4, and Erica, I just want to point out a couple of things. First of all, that two-tone foam is going to show you right where you want to place your fabric, but you'll also notice, quilters, we have multiple shapes on one die. So if it tells you to cut 4, you actually only need 1 piece of fabric.
That's great.
Okay, it's 90% faster than rotary cutters or scissors, and always safe and easy to use. Now the lengthwise grain is what we want to cut on, and since we're going to use these scraps here to show you how to cut with, I'm going to show you the easy way to find the lengthwise grain. So you're going to kind of tug and pull, and you see that big stretch. Now look right here, it's nice and tight. Nice and tight is what you want. This is the lengthwise grain. I'm going to do it here. Oh, low and wonky, high and tight. Now quilters, I could run up to 6 layers of cotton fabric in one time, but for this way, we're just going to show you how to cut with 2. So I'm going to turn on my Go Big Electric. I'm going to run it through the machine.
And we can use both sides of the mat.
Right.
We can move it around a little bit from side to side to spread out those cuts, and that's a great way to prolong the life of your mat.
And you could just wait for it here. We could go get cookies or something.
We could.
All right, we should. All right, here's the tip of the day. If you lift that mat up, all those pieces fly everywhere. So we're gonna slide that mat off, don't lift. And then I'm just gonna pull back. I had very little waste. And now we've cut perfect quarter square triangles. Now we've already cut some quarter square triangles that Erica's going to show you how to sew together that actually matches the fabric here in our block.
Now one thing I want to tell you and share with you is that I get confused when I'm sewing quarter square triangles.
I do too.
I'm guessing a lot of you do too. So I like to lay them out so that I'm sure that I'm sewing them together the right way. So I want to go ahead and just lay this out, and if I match what I already have there, my chances are good. So the confusing part is that we're actually going to be sewing together the short side.
Right.
So I'm going to put these together. Now because our dies are engineered to cut off those dog-eared corners, you can see we're squared off. It's going to tell me right where to line this up, and I'm going to be able to go straight to the sewing machine with this, and I'm going to come straight over here and sew this. And again, I kind of like to do a test block or a sample for myself, and just keep an eye on myself, because as soon as I start to feel comfortable, it's usually when I make a mistake. So there's one. Now let's just double check that.
Make sure we sewed it on the right side. Look at that.
Sure we did.
Good job.
I'm going to take these to the sewing machine and let you go ahead and press those for me, Pam.
Great. So I'm going to press to one side, and then the other side, I'm going to press to the other side. So let me show you how that works. Yep, the other seam, the other direction. So our seams lay flat. So here we are.
Now I'm going to try and catch up here.
Quilters, you want to make sure you use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, not a scant 1/4 inch.
But you're always wanting to test. I keep a seam gauge handy, and I always test when I start something new, because even the thread you're using can affect your seam allowance, and that's a great thing. I learned that from class, and I had not always done that before, so it really does make a difference.
Now when I ironed this before, I pressed to this green side. So when I lay it down here, because we can see how it works, I'm now going to press to the blue side so that center seam, when Erica sews it together, is going to line up just perfect.
Because when we do that, those seams are going to actually kind of lock in for us.
Right.
And let me pick that up and see, and hopefully we can get a good enough, we'll get those threads out of there for you. We're going to be able to line this up, and as I slide those together, they're going to match up perfectly. If I peel it back and peek, you can see I'm going to be right there together. Now you can put a pin in here if you want to just do a double check to make sure that you've got that point perfect in the middle. Most of the time I'm a pinner. If I'm able to lock my seams, will even get really crazy and go without.
There you go. So quilters, we would suggest you cut your fabric first and lay out all the pieces like we've done here today, and then you could actually start to chain stitch some of those pieces together. But quarter square triangles, who knew how fast they could come together?
So quickly. And the extra time saving, you know, Pam, you mentioned that it's 90% faster than rotary cutting, but it's actually even faster than that, because as we go along, we're going to save extra time by not having to clip off those dog-eared corners. So you can see just that easily, we've got our perfect points meeting in the center. Now to go ahead and press it out, because we've got some bulk there in the middle, what we can do is what some people will call swirling or opening up that center seam. And when we go into the very center, sorry it's kind of hard to see, we're going to pull that apart, and I'm actually going to unsew or take out just a couple of threads there right at the center. What that's going to do is allow me to open this up. I'm going to press this side over here, the other side to the other side.
Look at that.
This is going to reduce the bulk in the center so that I'm not going to have as much thickness there. It's going to be easier for me to quilt when I get to the end. And then I can turn it over, just give it a quick press there, and it's perfect.
Look how easy that was. Quilters, we'd love to see your version of this quilt. Find us at AccuQuilt.com on the Ideas page. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest.
Remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time
so you can quilt more.